What's up, friends? YouTube's struggling, but actually it looks like we're good to go. My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Merry Christmas, friends. Tonight is a full build giveaway night. Let me get things going here. The lights aren't turned on. Your boy was too busy watching Joshua Bardwell. There we go. There's a little more purple up in this motherfucker. I think all the lights are on. I think we're good. Look at me go. No more dropped frames. Alright, cool. I don't know what was going on at the beginning of the stream there, but we are good to go now. What's up, chat? Riot9 was first. JT Custom Knives, Whack FPV. Riot9 with a $4.20 Australian super chat for Pepsi and trees. Thank you, brother. B-Man FPV says, Ayo, CiottiFPV, Marley Lepo, Whack FPV, Grizz FPV, Jackalope Dan 636, Brandon's Baked Beans, T-Bird, B-Man, Quadzimo, Cody S.A., Martin Marty, License to Drive Borked, Grizz FPV, Go-Kart Mozart, Aethix FPV, Super Deluxe is in the house. Super Deluxe was just extremely generous over on Joshua Bardwell's stream. If you guys are not subscribed to Super Deluxe, I'm going to beat you with a rubber hose. Don't make me come out to where you live. Here Comes the Drone is in the house. Huff 19, Free Range Chicken, Jackalope, Nacho Quad, Dan 636, always hath been, Borked, Grizz FPV, Cody SA, Northern Tier, Rimmy Tim, Razzie B, Jackalope, Fish FPV, B-Man, Flatirons, Remy Tim is here, Huff19, Bork, Jackalope. I think I got everybody. If you want the gangliest of ganglies to read your name, you gotta come in early, you gotta say something. If you want to talk directly to me, you've got to type my name in the chat like this. You can type at CiottiFPV or just CiottiFPV. It'll light up an orange and I'll know you're talking to me. Otherwise, I'll assume that you're talking to each other, which you should do. The folks that hang out in the chat and the Discord, to get on the Discord, you're going to join my Patreon for $3 whole a month. Those are the folks that, you know, are amazing. And you should hang out with them, join in the conversation, and you'll learn a lot. The folks in the chat know just as much as I do. I got duped somehow into pointing a camera at myself. So, you know, there's that. The folks that have tagged me so far, B-Man says Ayo, Grizz says what it do, Dan636 says hey, T-Bird says what's up. T-Bird, thanks again for the box of stuff, man. Because of T-Bird's incredible generosity, the 12 hours of Christmas stream on Christmas, starting at 4 p.m. and running until 4 a.m., will have 12 giveaways in it. There will be 12 giveaways on that stream. Every other hour, I'm going to do 2 giveaways. So yeah, I've started to kind of put stuff aside for those giveaways. It's going to be super rad, so don't miss it. Patrons are going to be automatically entered into those giveaways. The patrons that are at the $5, $10, $20 tiers. And then the folks that are in the chat at the time of the giveaway are also going to be added to that chat. There's going to be a separate onesie rolling super chat that goes. Basically, the way that the 12-hour stream works is if there's $100 an hour in super chats and PayPals, so for stream starts, I'm dressed like a normal human being. There's a horrible red onesie that I will put on at the end of the first hour if we're at $100 in torture super chats / PayPals. If at the end of the next hour we're at 200, I have to keep the damn thing on. If at the end of the next hour it's at 300, I have to keep the damn thing on. So you guys can put me in a horrible red onesie for 11 out of 12 hours. The first hour is going to be glorious. And then after that, the punishment shall begin. So that's how it's going to work. This is my full-time job. I rely on support from beautiful, amazing people like you to keep on going with this live stream 8 to 10 hours a week. And so yeah, hop over to CiottiFPV.com, click a bunch of buttons. There's a Patreon that helps me out the most. There's a Fiverr page where I want to work with you guys one-on-one, help you tune better, help you fly better, help you build better, help you not waste money on the garbage parts. I've done that for you over the last 5 years. There's a Teespring store with some fun t-shirts, an Etsy store with some fun stickers, and there's a bunch of affiliate links if you're ever doing an order on Amazon or a bunch of other websites, FPV Cycle, FPV Crate, Oh My God's website. If you hit my affiliate link before you check out, I'll get 1 to 6%. It's free money. You can still use coupon codes, free shipping, all that fun stuff. Where was I at in the chat? Free Range Chicken says howdy all in CiottiFPV. Nacho Quad says good evening CiottiFPV. Jackalope says I thought CiottiFPV made a remix of his intro, but it's just lagging out. LOL. Ruby Tim says it's not even trying for me. It's just frozen up. Great. Whack FPV says pimps back the computer. Double A says sappin' in CiottiFPV in chat. Quad Killer says what's up Captain Gangles and FPV crew. JT Custom Knives with a $4.99 super chat. He says new whoop frame. Thank you, brother. JT Custom Knives knows that I broke a cockroach frame the other day, and we were talking about it. But we're actually gonna fix that tonight. I have it sitting right here. I dug through my little case of screws to look for longer screws for the sides, so we're gonna make this one with the BT 2.0 connector as durable as possible. JT Custom Knives, thank you, brother. Super Deluxe says check your PayPal, homie. Checking my PayPal. I'm just going to get my mail. I'm just going to hit get mail. One Vision Ariel says, hello. Kim Fuse says, what, no pink bunny suit? If somebody sent me a pink bunny onesie, I would wear it. But the red onesie thing is, it's got... Oh. Okay. Super Deluxe has PayPal'd me $500. Super, goddamn, bro. If you guys don't know, Super Deluxe is extremely generous. Has been for a long, long, long time. So help me God, if every single one of you is not subscribed to his channel, holy shit, bro. Thank you so much. Oh my God. That is incredible. I'm pulling up his channel to grab the URL. The URL is in the chat. I will kill you in your sleep if you do not go over there and subscribe right now. While you're at it, click a bunch of his videos and do some thumbs up and some commenting and some stuff. Whatever we can do to hook the man himself up. Remy Tim also dropping the link. Thank you, brother. Dude, holy shit. Merry Christmas, indeed. My God, that is wild, Super. Thank you so much, brother. Things have been a little tight since the flying gigs kind of disappeared for me a couple of months ago when the temperature dropped. So yeah, this is a big deal. This really, really, really helps me get through the winter here. I'm assuming I'm putting good vibes out into the universe that when the weather warms back up next year, the flying gigs will pick back up. But yeah, I was getting a little worried lately. So, my God, thank you so much, brother, and all you guys, every single one of you that supports me. It's a really big deal. Like it really, really, really is. I've always kind of stayed away from freelance life. I've been stuck in corporate jobs for the better part of 20 years. All of my 20s, all of my 30s. This was a big leap, and it's scary, and but it's interesting. I always kind of stayed away from this because I thought that it would trigger the anxiety and the depression worse than, you know, I thought that being in corporate jobs with a steady paycheck and health insurance and all that good stuff would be better for my mental health. But what's insane is that it really wasn't and isn't and all the things. So yeah, this has been a wild ride over the last, like, so I mean, I've been full-time FPV I got laid off at the beginning of the pandemic. So yeah, a little over a year and a half. I've been doing the streaming thing for about 2 years. It started while I was employed with a company in Charleston while I was here in Atlanta. But yeah. Hey, by the way, full build giveaway tonight. If you guys didn't see on my Instagram and whatnot, this rig, this is the Beta 85X. I think that this is the best way to carry around the lightest weight way to carry around a naked GoPro, or if somebody makes I'm sure somebody makes a 3D print for an Insta360 Go. Yeah, I think this is it. So this is going to be a giveaway tonight. I'm sad to see this thing go, but I want one of you guys to be flying this. So yeah, full build giveaway tonight, probably like 11 o'clock-ish, we're going to do it. The way it's going to work is that patrons on the $5, $10, and $20 tiers, those wheels are going to get spun. The winners of those wheels move on to the final countdown wheel. We're then going to do Super Chats and PayPals as we usually do. $5 to get on once, $10 to get on twice. If for some reason you can't join the Patreon, you can just jump into the giveaway that way. That wheel is going to get spun. So all of the wheel spins are going to be totally normal, but the winners of those 4 wheel spins that we usually do are going to get put into one final wheel, and then that's going to get spun to see who wins this thing. So it's completely random. and you know, you guys get the same number of chances that you normally would, and somebody wins an entire build. It's on 1105 5000s, and I don't know what else to say about it, but yeah, full build giveaway. Super Deluxe, my God, man, you are we are very lucky to have you in this community, my man. B-Man FPV says, always on the cusp of tech when we're all filming in 30 or 60 frames per second. He's doing 1 frame per second. Noah Reinhardt with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Noah. I'm very glad to have Noah back in the hobby. Noah was a staple of our chat when I got started last year into the live streaming thing. And then I assume that life got in the way, and he took a little bit of a break from FPV because none of us saw him for a while. A week or two ago, he popped back up. He's like, yo, what's going on? I've been out of the game for a while. It's awesome to have him back. Chris Croft says hi, tagged me and said hi there. Remy Tim says, check your PayPal. Remy Tim with a $25 PayPal. Merry Christmas early. Love you, bud. Thank you so much, Daniel. You guys are... You guys are wild, man. It's you know, this is like the open source of content creation, and yeah, it's cool that you guys are willing to support the madness. And yeah, I mean, you guys get a lot out of these streams, and that's like amazing. And I absolutely love that. And then the fact that you guys then give back is just next level. It really is. I feel like this is kind of the future of content creation here with, you know, sort of this donation-based kind of system so that you don't have people that are being paid by X, Y, or Z companies, and that's, you know, going to potentially affect their reviews and the info that they give. So yeah, it's really cool. I've sort of stole this format from Joshua Bardwell, right? Like he's been, he kind of pioneered this way of doing it, and I remember the first time that I realized that that's what he was doing. I was like, oh my God, that's what I have to do. Like that's just great. And that was around the time that I was figuring out how I wanted to sort of monetize FPV. To be able to do this for more time in every given day. You know, when I was working full time in Corpo, I tried to devote as much brain space to FPV as I could for the 8 hours a day that I was at work, but I kind of couldn't because I had to focus on what I was doing. So, you know, I was only able to put in, 5 or 6 hours a day of FPV brain. I mean, you know, all of life, right, is just how much of our brain or body do we give to different things. The company that we work for, things that we do for fun. I guess those are the main things, right? And going full time with this allows me to put 10, 11, 12 hours a day of thought, of brain, of, you know, my body into FPV. And yeah, it's amazing that I'm able to do that, and that you guys support me in this wild journey. So I'm a lucky dude. I'm a really lucky dude that I got so obsessed with this hobby, and kind of focused on micros for so long, and was able to get all this knowledge together. And you know, I've said it a million times that these live streams started specifically just to spread that knowledge around and to get the groupthink going and to get as many people as possible, as educated as possible about micros, so that we could get them so that they fly a lot better, because I saw that potential of them flying, you know, as good as 5-inch rigs, and it's just been incredible to really see that spin up over the last like year and a half. And yeah, man, you guys are a big part of that, and it's just wild. It's really cool. B-Man FPV with a $10 super chat. He says, happy ho-ho gangly, man. Thank you, B-Man. You are the man. Chris Croft says, CiottiFPV, of course I am sub to Super Deluxe, as I won JB frame from him. Very cool. JRFPV says, let me get in that. I'm assuming you're gonna go subscribe. You better. Here comes Super Deluxe's link again. You guys better go subscribe. Huff19FPV with a $20 super chat. He says, happy holidays and thanks for all you do for this hobby. Super Deluxe got me in the spirit on that last stream. My God, for real. For real. How about this? Super Deluxe's extremely generous PayPal has officially put me into the red onesie for the first hour of the stream, of the 12-hour stream. Matter of fact, hold on, fuck this, hold on. Let me get you guys something to watch real quick. Hold on, I got you guys covered. Let the torture begin. I'm probably not masking what I'm about to do very well, but here, watch this for a second. I'll be right back. Is there no audio on this? There's no audio on this. Hold on. Let me get you a get you guys a soundtrack real quick here. I'll be right back. Hold on. Deep house. Listen to some deep house. This is not very deep, this house. I'll be right back. Hold on. I'll be right back. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals! There it is, goddammit! Super Deluxe! Thank you so much, brother. My God. Super and all you guys, this is for you. This torture has begun. This is, yeah, this is for you. I love you guys. Let me get back into it here. Huff19, I got you. Thank you, brother. One Visionario says hello. Kim Fuse is in the house. Says what? No bunny suit. I guess next year we'll do a pink bunny suit. JVFPV says I kissed CiottiFPV and I liked it. Scroll. June Loco says now you can buy DJI goggles. Yeah, I'll buy DJI goggles when I have health insurance. All right, here we go. Oh God, YouTube just did the thing. Hold on, scrolling back up. Come on. Here we go. Super Deluxe says, can we get you in a hot tub? Not with a camera on. June. Oh wait, no, we got that. Michael Jones with a 19.99 super chat. No comment, just wants to support his boy. Thank you, Michael Jones. Very, very cool of you. I much appreciated. Riot9 says 1 year sub. Think I got in on the Halloween stream in the green alien onesie. LMAO. CiottiFPV. Remy Tim with a $4.99 super chat. He says Merry Christmas. Thank you so much, Remy Tim. There's another email here. Oh damn, Colin Collins with a $10 PayPal for the MacBook. He says, let's get this gear fund kicked up to 400. Oh my God, Colin Collins, thank you so much for round numbering this for me. There it is. Thank you, brother. Rimby Tim with a $4.99 super chat. Thanks again, homie. Jackalope FU with a $10 super chat. Choo choo. If all 70 of you chip in $10, our dangly gangly man can finally get a computer made in this decade. That is enough of a description for it to be qualified for the Gear Fund. 400 goes to 410. Thank you very much, Jackalope. Super Deluxe says, Festivus is alive, fam. Indeed it is. Dan636 with a $20 super chat. He says, towards the Mac Fund, you are the king. The Micro King. I've even got stickers. If you want any of the unreleased stickers, just let me know. And we'll do it outside of Etsy, because I just cannot... I gotta get the Etsy updated, but I keep finding other things that that eat my time. Dan636, thank you, brother. We are going from 410 to 430. There it be. Fish FPV with a $20 super chat. He says, Merry Christmas, dude. Thank you so much, Fish. June Loco says, there's nobody like CiottiFPV. We love you, brother. I love you guys all, too. I really, really do. Super Lux says, gang gangle. Brandon's Baked Beans says, here's to 100% FPV brains. Yeah, man. Yeah. Hey, by the way, before I forget, these are the new GemFan 3020s. They are awesome. I flew 3 batteries on them earlier today. I beat them up pretty good. Unfortunately, the RunCam hybrid settings I had were too dark, and I was flying in like moonlight, basically. Not really moonlight, but civil twilight. And it was just black. There's just no video proof of it. But I really like these new GemFan 3020s. I do wish that they had a little bit more pitch, like the Dow 3028s, but I haven't head-to-headed them. What I can say is they're nice and durable, they fly really good, and they definitely have quite a bit more power than the GemFan 3016 tri-blades. They're also way more durable than those. So I am digging these, and they're in the right color in this red from FPV Crate. So I just wanted to make sure that I said that before I forget. What else we got going on here? Super Deluxe says, leave the butt flap open, though. Oh, it's open. It's wide open. It smelled like farts in my bedroom. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the butt flap was open. What do we got? Ooh, I'm getting caught up. Come on. Here we go. Here comes Super Deluxe's link again. Go subscribe or I'll attack you physically. License to Drive is in the house. He says, when I was a young child, I wore a red onesie and my brother a green. She called my name in a shop once, Ridwan, and somebody nearby said, what do you call the other one? Green one? Ridwan, not Ridwan. Ridwan. That's License to Drive's first name? Last name? I think it's your first name, right? Riot 9 with $6 Australian, uneven Mac Fund, 4 USD. 434 the Mac Fund goes to. Thank you, Riot 9. Hey, look at that. I'm caught up on chat. Very cool. Yeah. So I'm digging these. Let's do a quick comparison to the it is his first name. I knew it. Let's do a little bit of comparison to the, man, this is the least flattering thing I can possibly put on my big dumb body. Yeah, first name, most people call me Rid. Nice. Festivus begins, Super Lux says. So this is the Dow 3028. Great propeller, brand new, stupid colors. They make it in this, like, Tiffany blue, and they also make it in this see-through yellow, I guess, greenish yellow. Terrible colors, in my opinion. But 3028, a T-mount propeller that's durable, and it has roughly 30 pitch, 28. That's really what we need for these 250-ish gram, 3-inch freestyle builds. This Dow is the closest on paper that we have. Here's something I want you guys to understand about pitch. is that it's not the whole story. Pitch is technically the amount, the distance that the propeller travels in a given fluid, whatever. So the pitch should have kind of everything to do with how much thrust the propeller makes, but it doesn't. I don't know if that's because... I think it's because these propeller manufacturers don't have a super accurate way of measuring pitch, but I'm probably wrong about that. The long and short of it is, the pitch number on the propeller is not the whole story. So, like, for example, these 20 pitch, 30-20 pitch gem fans feel an awful lot, thrust-wise, like these Dow 30-28 pitches. And a 28 pitch versus a 20 pitch, that's a big jump, right? That's almost a 50% jump in pitch. But, yeah, like I said, when I haven't flown these back-to-back yet, but this rig, which I've flown a bunch on these, feels... I couldn't really feel a difference. Now, again, without being them, one battery right to the next, that's really, really difficult. But flying this thing around 4 batteries on these props, it felt beautiful. It felt like pretty kind of perfect. I chose to run them on this rig because this rig has the highest KV motors by a little bit. This is the ripsqueak on the RCX 1306 4000 KV motors on 4S. There's also these Toka 1505s, which is more stator volume, but the RPM is a little bit lower. These are 3800 KV. Not a big difference, but a definite difference. And then the other rig over here is on the Zing 1504s, 3900 KV. So I specifically put these slightly lower pitch props on the rig with the highest KV to take advantage of that, you know, reduction in pitch compared to the Dows. When I look at these side by side, which I can show you guys. Let me try to show you guys this as I'm sort of figuring it out. So we are right side high, and okay. So here, I'm going to show it to you guys first. I haven't even looked at it yet, but there's the difference in. I'm going to have to manually focus this thing because it is not going to want to focus on a three-dimensional object. Christ, it can't even focus on flat things. So there's the difference in pitch. You can totally see it. Like the 3028 in blue on bottom, very obviously the blade is at a steeper angle, right? You guys can definitely see that. So the 3028s, the main profile of the blade is more pitchy. But again, that's potentially not the whole story, right? We've also got like the thickness of the blade itself, front to back, although the dowel looks like it's a wider propeller, bigger paddle, you know? So my guess is that when I do back-to-back these, that the dowels are going to make a little bit more thrust. That being said, as you guys know, I'm not a fan of rigs that have tons and tons and tons of power. Let's check the weight difference between these two as well. I prefer rigs that have a little bit less power because that gives you better throttle control. So maybe this Dow 3028 is too much pitch, and this is kind of perfect. That's going to be a subjective thing that I sort of figure out as I kind of fly this rig around a little bit. The Dow 3028 is 1.5 grams. The Gemfan 3020 is 1.2 grams. So the lighter weight propeller the PID loop is going to have an easier time spinning the propeller up and down and up and down and up and down to fight things like prop wash and throttle chop bobbles. And what I can say is that the tune was... I did a little bit of work on the tune on this rig the other night, just a couple simple little things. So it could have been that, but lighter propellers always fly better. You always get an improvement in flight characteristics with a lighter propeller. So yeah, the other big thing for me in the main decision between these props is going to be color. This is the right color. This is the dumb color. So fuck this prop. No, I'm just kidding. The big thing is going to be durability. Which of these is going to take hits better and not produce jello on the onboard RunCam hybrid? Carl H with a $10 super chat. He says, finish my inpatient treatment program tomorrow. Time to get back into FPV and some snowcross video with a fresh and clear head. Merry Christmas from Minnesota. Carl H, congratulations, brother. That is a fucking huge deal. Yeah, man, that's a big deal, Carl. Congratulations on that. That's incredible. What a Christmas present to yourself, brother. Amazing. Man, yeah. 661FPV says, I'm still running HQ 3x303. Is there a 3-inch T-mount prop with more pitch yet? There is. GemFan's 3052 is now their new school hub design where it's M5 or T-mount. But that's like an awful lot of pitch. The HQ 3x3x3s are okay. They're not very strong between the hub and the blades, so you bend a lot of blades at the hub. They're also not all that well balanced. They're not as poorly balanced as the HQ 3x2.5x3. That's a propeller that on a lot of rigs you can't even use because the balance is so off. By the way, I let FPV Crate know that, and they messaged it over to HQ. I've never had anybody at HQ to talk to, so I don't have a direct line to them. So that was cool that FPV Crate did that. Maybe HQ will fix that mold. I doubt it, but maybe they'll fix their 3x2.5x3 propeller. Because that would be another great contender, but the current 3x2.5x3 HQs don't get them. They're out of balance. You're not going to have a good time unless you have a really clean rig on a completely stock PID tune. The HQ 3x3x3 is not as bad as the 3x2.5x3, but it's almost... no, it's not almost as bad. It's flyable. You can have a cranked up tune, but when you switch between that prop and a GemFan 3-inch prop, you can just tell there's less vibes getting in. The quad will at idle it'll be quieter. At completely off throttle it'll be quieter. You won't. Yeah, they're just better balanced. That's an experience that I've had for a long time. Which is that GemFan props on the whole, much like Preparation H, tend to be more balanced. Whereas HQ props, in more often than not, are a little bit more durable than GemFan props. Not always. There are GemFan props that are more durable. But yeah. So there's a little bit of a trade-off there. But in the grand scheme of things, when you compare two different propellers, one from HQ, one from GemFan, of a similar target, right? Like some propellers are designed to be durable, some are designed to be lightweight, some are designed to be efficient, right? So when you take two propellers that are both designed for a lot of durability, a lot of efficiency, let's just say, between those two companies, the HQ prop tends to be a little bit more durable, the GemFan prop tends to be a little bit better balanced, a little bit more thrusty, a little bit more efficient. So yeah, there's that. 661FPV says, main reason I'm running the 3x303, I think, is I have too low of a KV motor for 3S. I may have to go up to a light 4S and a lighter prop. Try those 3052s, 661. But that's a lot of pitch. You're going to start to lose throttle resolution. When if you're trying to fly low to the ground, you'll notice that you're bouncing up and down more on a really pitchy prop, like a 52 pitch prop. So yeah, getting more kV so that you can run like a 3028 or even a 3020 is going to give you a rig that at cruising speeds has better throttle resolution. And again, you'll notice that when you try to fly really low to the ground. Especially with micros, I try to scrape the ground because it gives you much more of a sensation of speed. And one of the problems with micros, if you're flying them at a bigger location, is they're slower. So it's harder to get from point A to point B. In between like subjects or obstacles. So flying really low to the ground kind of fixes that, because all of a sudden you're like, the world is just ripping by you. Mainly because, when you fly low, you're putting more of the ground in the frame, right? Like if you're 10 feet off the ground, there's only a little bit of the ground in the frame, so you don't have as much of a sensation of speed. As you get lower, more of the ground is in the camera frame, so it just makes it look like you're going faster. So for me, yeah, I try to stick with the lower pitch props. But if you've got better throttle control than me, maybe you won't need that, right? So always keep that in mind. Paul McDonald with a $5 super chat. He says, would you run 0802 Zing 1S on a 2S 65mm setup with throttle limiting? I'm running into hardware limits to get a whoop in the air this week. Merry Christmas. If you're just trying to get a rig in the air, absolutely. Just go ham with the throttle limiting in the PID tab. Long term, because you're going to be pulling that down to like 60% throttle limiting, 55%, maybe 65%. That's, I would try to not run motor limiting that low, because there are some very intelligent people that say that you're going to lose a little bit of throttle resolution, you're going to sacrifice efficiency, some stuff like that. So long term, I would try to not have a rig. I haven't done it, so maybe it's fine. I've throttle limited down to 75%, and I couldn't tell the difference. That doesn't mean that there isn't a difference, but I couldn't tell the difference. So take that with a grain of thought. Great. So yeah, but just to get it up in the air, hell yeah. JT Custom Knives says, CiottiFPV says he's not a fan of much power, but has a tiny whoop that goes 88 miles per hour, lol. Michael Blade says, hey buddy. Yeah, that's true. It's true. I have like the world's most powerful 1S tiny whoop. But the reason that I'm doing that is that tiny whoops, the biggest problem with the flight characteristics of tiny whoops is a lack of power. And yeah, I mean, I think this whoop, I don't know, we'll see. I was about to say I think that this is at the right power level finally, and maybe it's a touch too much, but I haven't put enough batteries through it to really get used to it. When I built this tiny whoop originally, 1S 0802 25,000 kV, it was really hard to fly. But I got used to it. I got used to the spike of power that I had at full throttle, and I can already feel that same process happening with this rig. Basically, the way that I have learned to figure out how much power I want on any given rig is to keep putting more and more and more power into it until the throttle resolution becomes a problem, and until I have a rig that I bounce on elevation. So when I'm flying really low to the ground, if I just am bouncing too much and I'm having trouble with elevation control as I put more and more batteries into it, that means that that's one of the big reasons where I go, okay, I've got too much power, I need to back it off. The other reason being when I go full throttle, if there's too much power, there's too much power. And this is not there yet. Like, so for example, in my 5-inch journey, initially I was on a high KV 2207, and then I moved down to a 2306, and then I moved back to 2207s, 2207.5, 2208, and yeah, Anything more than a 2306, what I've found is that when I go full throttle, it's too much. And there's no reason to carry around the extra stator volume, the extra weight, in that case, right? You're just hurting the performance of the rig for the sake of more power that you don't want. So with these tiny whoops, I don't know if I'm quite there yet. Maybe we'll see. I've definitely not noticed with this rig that elevation control is a problem. So that's awesome. That's 50% thumbs up. The is full throttle too much horsepower thing? I don't think it is either. That big backflip that we're trying to do at Maggie's place, up over the railing and then down the stairwell. You know, I would love to be able to do that with like a quick blip. I would love to be able to like ride up that wall and then quick blip to throw it back. But that's not what I'm doing. I'm going full throttle at the bottom, climbing up that wall, throwing it up over the railing, and then trying to get it down that stairwell. So, yeah, I mean, until the point where a quick blip of throttle is too much throw, I'm just going to keep adding power. That being said, I don't know how much more power we can really add to these, which is why I'm kind of thinking that this might be it. 0802, 25,000 kV, BT 2.0, we bleed FPV batteries. This might be like kind of done. And we're starting to run into we're potentially running into durability problems. That's the other issue. If you've got so much power that the rig starts breaking all the time, that's a good, you know, hey, pull the power level down a little bit so you're smashing into things not quite as hard. Great question, JT. Well, great observation or whatever. Yeah. That's sort of my workflow when it comes to picking what motors, picking propellers, picking, you know, frames, all that stuff. Everything is really interconnected. This is where the build planning that I do over on Fiverr, or just if you guys message me, this is where that becomes really handy. You know, I've done a lot of this kind of R&D, I guess you could call it. So when we do those one-on-one sessions, I ask you how often you crash, how hard you crash, what you crash into, stuff like that, so that I can kind of dial that in for you. And yeah, it's the folks that have done that with me have built rigs that they're like in love with. So I'd love to work with each and every one of you one-on-one to get you into a rig without you having to spend years of testing all different parts and different motors and different frames and all that nonsense, because it's grueling, man. It's fun, don't get me wrong, it's definitely fun to be doing a lot of testing, but it kind of hurts you trying to get better as a pilot, because you're constantly flying different stuff. You're not able to really build that muscle memory on the same rig, and there's a lot of placebo. There's a lot of opportunities to, like, you know, put a motor on and be like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever, but you're actually not flying better. You're just having more fun. So yeah, but for different people that doesn't matter, right? For some people, just having fun is everything. So there's a big balance. There's a million things that we balance. Yeah, I can help you guys out with that. Doom FPV is in the house. He says the GemFan Hulky 2040s are nice. Hulky 2040s. That's a 2-inch prop. 2040. 2040. Yeah, right. That's the redesigned. Wait, no. Is the 2040 the 3-blade? If the GemFan Hulky 2040 is the tri-blade 2-inch prop, I actually didn't have much luck with that way back when. I actually found them to be a little bit out of balance. That being said, for a 2-inch rig, I would actually rather have a 4-blade. I really like the Emax 4-blade. It's incredibly durable. It's more durable than any other 2-inch prop. I'm wondering if that's the one you're talking about, Doom. Kevin Smith says, any history with HGLRC Areola 1804 3500 kV motors for 3.5-inch props? None. No, I haven't run that motor. I don't know if it's coggy or not. What I can say, though, is on a 3.5-inch prop, an 1804 is amazing. I think that Areolus is a T-mount. X-Nova does make a T-mount version of their 1804, and the X-Novas are a known quantity. They're nice and smooth. They're not coggy. So I would actually guide you towards the X-Nova 1804 3500 kV T-mount version. Pyrodrone sells it, I think, rather than the HGLRC Areolas. Just because it's an unknown. Although if somebody has those 1804s, I would love to know if it's coggy or not. 661FPV says, thanks for the in-depth answer. Your opinion is always much appreciated. Bork says, need a good way to deal with dog and people hair in my whoop using tweezers each flight. I mean, it's only really an issue with brushed motors, because with brushed motors, the hair collects in a bad spot that fucks the motor up. On these brushless motors, the hair collects in a spot that doesn't really matter, so you can kind of ignore it for the most part. But then eventually, I guess you will get too much. I don't really have a great solution. I try for my, to be honest, my solution to that is to vacuum the house more often. So, yeah, and I think all of our significant others would appreciate that, that being our solution. So, there you go. Happy wife, happy life and all. Vacuum your house more, and then that's the best possible solution. That's a solution that works for FPV and for real life. So do that. Vacuum more often, people. Paul McDonald says, thanks, bro. You're certainly welcome. Slat FPV's in the house. What's up, brother? Slat FPV throttle limits down to 83% on his controller. Very cool. I did not know that. Noah Reinhardt says the Meteor 65 Pro is pretty peppy. Very cool. I think that's a rig that's on 22,000 kV 0802s. That's a good kV. 25,000 kV is way better, though, in my opinion, and in my testing. For freestyle, for Tiny Whoop freestyle, I have no interest in Tiny Whoop racing. I don't care about run times. So yeah, it's all about that big spike of power. And yeah, the 0802 25,000s, my god, you can do fun stuff freestyle wise with these Tiny Whoops. 661FPV says, I use the setting throttle boost in Betaflight to adjust for super high power or super low power builds. It's like feed forward for the throttle, works really well for elevation control. My fear with throttle boost is that it's going to be a little bit overactive, so I actually turn the throttle boost down. It's interesting that you're using it for that 661. I might play around with that a little bit. That's really interesting. Michael Jones says, come on YouTube, you're killing me. Michael Jones says, gotta check out. Thanks, CiottiFPV. You're certainly welcome, brother. Scrolling. Noah Reinhardt says 35mm props on that Pro. Oh, the slightly bigger props. I think that's like a 1.4-inch propeller. That's interesting. That's pretty cool. Look at that. I'm caught up on chat, and it's 10:56. We talked about this. After we do the giveaways, we are going to dive into this rig. We're going to add a capacitor to it. I couldn't get it to do the weird twitching behavior that it's had the last couple of times that I've flown it outside. So I don't know. We're gonna put a capacitor on this. Next time I take it out and fly it, maybe it'll be better. Maybe it won't. I don't know. We'll see. I was really hoping that it would do the twitching shit so that we could get a 1-to-1, you know, hey, it did help or it didn't help. My assumption is that it's not going to help, but I have high hopes because the twitching that this is doing is not the same type of twitching that I usually associate with the gyros failing or the ESC being garbage. Sometimes ESCs are just kind of garbage and they do like a certain kind of twitching. Yeah, this is doing like a type of twitching that I've not necessarily seen before. So that's why I'm kind of maybe thinking that it might have to do with capacitance, in that it doesn't have enough capacitance. So yeah, I don't know. Just throwing a capacitor on it is like a way to try to troubleshoot stuff like this. It typically doesn't help, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'll be very surprised if putting a capacitor on here helps with this issue, but adding a capacitor is a very easy thing to do. One of the big reasons that I run all the micros on 4S is that you don't need a capacitor as long as the ESC is semi-decent. Super Deluxe says emu it, as in put it onto emu flight. I have tried moving rigs with bad flight behaviors to emu flight quite a few times over the last like year and a half, and I've never had a single case where it's helped. In talking to devs, there just kind of isn't anything in emu flights that's going to help. The emu flight filtering is basically, since emu flight is a fork of Betaflight, emu flight's filtering is almost identical to like Betaflight 4.1 or 4.0, I forget which one it is, filtering. In Betaflight 4.2, we got RPM filtering, which is way more effective. Emu Flight is working on moving to RPM filtering, which is a pretty clear indication that, RPM filtering is better, right? Like, if Emu Flight thought that their own filtering was better than RPM filtering, they wouldn't be working on RPM filtering, right? So, like, I think it's pretty safe for us to say that, and all of the really smart guys say that, and have shown with black box logs and testing and whatnot, that RPM filtering is the shit. So yeah, I think there are what I can say about emu flight is that the stock PIDs are definitely more aggressive than the Betaflight PIDs. So if you're unwilling to touch to adjust your PIDs, emu flight is a way to get a more aggressive PID loop. But you can just take your Betaflight PIDs and move them up by 5 points at a time, and you can benefit from RPM filtering, and then you can move the PID loop into a place where it's even more aggressive than emu flight. Emu flight does have some really interesting stuff. I don't want to be too down about it, but in terms of like what I'm trying to do here, what I'm trying to troubleshoot here, yeah, I've tried a bunch of times, because emu flight's filtering is different. It is a little bit different, so there is a chance that whatever weirdness a rig has, there is a chance that different filtering will help. I've never seen it happen. I've tried it a bunch. So yeah, it's kind of throwing darts. As most of you guys know, my approach to troubleshooting is always hardware. Fix the hardware. Don't try to put band-aids on in the software. With a proper hardware setup, a rig will fly beautifully on any firmware. And also with a proper hardware setup, you can crank the tune up to have a rig that flies really well. And that's what I want. I want a rig with a nice hardware setup, and I want to be able to crank the tune and the tune up and the filtering down for less filtering, for a rig that performs really, really, really nice. And yeah, so that's why I always target hardware tuning. I sometimes I call it hardware tuning. It's a weird name for it, but yeah, I always try to get the hardware into a place where it's as good as it can be within reason, and then that's going to allow me to get a really wicked tune on it. FPV Trucker says, Colin Collins is me. I sent you a little something for the MacBook through PayPal. Merry Christmas. Thank you so much, FPV Trucker. I called that out earlier. Very, very cool of you. Chase Media FPV, thanks for moving from the $5 to the $10 tier on Patreon. He's looking to get in on those 3-inch micro brushless things. Awesome. All right, cool. Got that. And 661 FPV says Emu Flight uses Butterflight IMUF filters. I think it's more confusing to me. It's not just you, 661. Yeah, the different filters that Emu Flight uses. We run into this with all of the less popular flight firmwares, right? So Flight 1, KISS, Emu Flight. Since they're being flown by a lot less pilots, there's a lot less information out there on them, so it's a lot harder to troubleshoot them. The Emu Flight devs are amazing, and they do, in my opinion, a much better job than the Flight 1 and KISS devs about actually replying to you if you message them, or just making themselves available, let's say, right? But it's nothing compared to Betaflight. The time that I have spent on KISS Flight 1 and Emu Flight really made me appreciate how deep the knowledge base is for Betaflight, and how many people there are that really actually understand Betaflight on a pretty amazing level. So yeah, that's a definite plus for me of Betaflight, is there's just so much information out there. You don't have to have this like throwing darts, like, you know, this sort of a dart throwing experience. Flight 1 is notorious for that, right? Like, even the main guy, Preston of Flight 1, if you have access to him, which when I was testing Flight 1, I did, I would ask him questions, and I would ask him like questions that required an answer that, like, they required like a real answer, to like explaining how the thing worked, and the replies that I would get would be, oh, we'll just try this other thing and see if it works. Oh, we'll just try this and see if it works. Try that and see if it works. Versus like, oh, you know, that filter does this really well, but it does that really poorly, so this other filter is what you should try. I never got that from Preston or any of the other guys that worked on Flight 1, namely Wild Willie and Schizo. And yeah, with Betaflight, it's just not like that, right? There's people in the community here that can explain why different things are happening, rather than just like, you know, try this, try that, try this, try that. That whole try this, try that, you know, that's all the feedback that you get from like Facebook groups, right? You go into any of our FPV Facebook groups and you say, hey, I'm getting a weird mid-throttle oscillation, and 90% of the replies that you get is, oh, try this, try turning off D-min, try, you know, spinning around 14 times and sticking your dick up your own ass. That's you know, that's worthless. I mean, it's in those cases, it's people that have no idea what they're talking about, right? They've been flying for 4 weeks and they want to help so bad that they just say anything. That was all that I got in the time that I spent on KISS and Flight 1, and I was just like, no. So yeah, I don't know. There you guys go. There's a bunch of info that you didn't ask for. So we talked about these GemFan 3020s. I'm pretty impressed. Yeah, I can't wait to back them with the Dow 3028s. Let's do some giveaways, friends. Here we go. I need to open this chat window again. You've probably got like 60 seconds. If you want to get in on more of tonight's giveaways, join my Patreon. Go to CiottiFPV.com, click the Patreon button. The $5, $10, and $20 tiers will get you into more of tonight's giveaways, basically. I will be accepting Super Chats and PayPals as a 4th wheel spin, so hold off, to get into tonight's giveaway for a full build. This is a Beta 85 setup to carry around an Insta360 Go, but it's also gonna, I'm sure you can find a TPU print for a Insta360 Go as well. I think this is the best way. So the other rig that I was thinking about doing a giveaway for here tonight is this Beta 85X that I painstakingly built on a bunch of live streams here. But I decided not to, because I spent so much time on this build and it was such a challenging build that I can't do it. I can't just send this away to someone. B, it doesn't fly that great, and I don't really want to send somebody a build that's like, here's my garbage. This should fly a lot better than this. The reason that I think this doesn't fly all that well, I think the biggest reason is that there's a ton of obstruction back here in the low pressure zone. So the low pressure zone is up above the propellers. The low pressure zone is much more important to keep clean and to not have obstructions in it than the high pressure zone. But when you're trying to build a cinematic rig and you're putting an HD camera that you don't want to get any ducts in view, the pusher style is better for that because the ducts sit down low. So if you think about like the field of view here of the HD camera, the pusher rig is going to have less prop guard in view than the puller rig. But yeah, as I found out here, there are some serious drawbacks to that. I don't fly this. I really would like to. My goal for this is to put it into a different frame. I'm really on the hunt for a 2-inch cinematic frame to carry around an Insta360 Go 2. But it can't have so much obstruction. So yeah, what I think is going on with this rig is you've got all this garbage above in the low pressure zone, which, you know, the pusher rigs get around that. Some of the other pusher rigs get around that. I think the biggest issue is there's all this garbage in the way of where you're trying to produce thrust, right? Like this rig is going to be able to produce good thrust here, and you guys kind of can't see it. This is going to produce good thrust out here, but then all the thrust in here is going to literally be blocked by all this carbon, and it's just as bad in the, oh god, you guys can't see shit. I'm doing a terrible job. In the back, it's even worse. You got this whole arm, you got this whole arm, it's all in the way. You know, you've only got good clean thrust for like half of this 2-inch propeller. You know what I mean? So I think that's why this thing is really struggling. So I'm looking for, what I really want is a 2-inch frame like this where these motors are pulled outwards. Because if the motors are pulled outwards, that's going to give you more room here. Because we still need a spot to mount the VTX, right? So yeah, I'm on the hunt for a 2-inch. I'm still on the hunt for a 2-inch cinematic-ish Insta360 Go carrying whatever. And so what I'm getting at is that right now, I think this is the best way to do that. So whoever gets this, I think is going to really dig it. So let's do it. Isaac M says, so you would suggest switching from EMU to Beta? Been on EMU since I started and thinking of switching. Yeah. EMU Flight is good. I think it's the best of the other firmwares. The data definitely shows that, and data don't really lie. But it doesn't have RPM filtering yet. Once EMU Flight has RPM filtering, that'll be pretty interesting. But at the moment with RPM filtering, the data says that Betaflight's better. And my personal experience has matched that, and many others. Athix FPV says, what frame would you rather rebuild, the 250 or the 85X? Oh, wow. I mean, the 85X didn't, like, try to get me to bleed to death. So that's nice. But I would rather rebuild the 250. That 85X build was that it was a whole other level of frustration. Just because of how the wires are routed. It's just a goddamn nightmare. Super Deluxe says Cinesqueak from BQE. Let me see. Cinesqueak. No, don't. That's not what I want. Come on. There it is. Nope, that's not it. Come on. Computer, you got this. Internet, come on. No. Oh god. Nothing's working. Everything's working. I'm just not searching properly. Shop, BQE, FPV frames, Cinesqueak, where are you? Fine, Skinna. It's not coming up. What is the Cinesqueak built off of? What frame is it built off of? Hitting all the wrong buttons. Where's it at? Where's the Cinesqueak? I am going to be building a 2-inch ripsqueak to see if the smaller might not be released yet. Ah, gotcha. Yeah, I am going to be building a 2-inch ripsqueak to see if that'll work. But it's going to be a little heavy. I really want something that's lightweight. That's the other thing, is that I really want something that's very, very, very lightweight. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. 661 says it's just a ripsqueak with prop guards. Oh, okay. So I'm already planning on building that. Nice. Great minds think alike. Super Deluxe. Hey, let's do some giveaways. It's a smaller ripsqueak frame. Ah, I'm in. Let me get this. All right, so I need to do something that's gonna make the computer run like ass. Let me do that real quick here. Oh my god. Oh boy. Oh boy, this is a lot. Hold on. Yeah, I really gotta get caught up on the one of the things that you guys get as for joining the Patreon is audio versions of the live streams, audio only, so you can listen to them as podcasts. And I really need to get caught up on those. I'm very behind on those audio on the audio versions of these live streams. So I just need to do one more quick thing here, and there we go. So yeah, you patrons are gonna get a whole bunch of emails when I do that, because it really goes. So I am reloading all of these tabs with the wheels and with the Patreon tiers. So if you haven't joined the Patreon yet, you're going to have to rely on the Super Chat giveaway that we're going to do fourth. Hold off. I'll explain it in a minute. In order to get in on tonight's full build giveaway. Look, I even have the box for it. Ooh. All right. So here we go. One of the other perks of joining the Patreon is that when I do these giveaways every other Monday, you'll have access to a Discord channel called the Video Collective. And in the Video Collective, you can put your... can I show them on the stream? Super? You can put your flight edits, and I play a couple of flight edits while I'm doing the thing in the place here to get the wheels all set. So I'm going to go here. I'm not going to show them on stream, just out of respect for Bill. So that it's just, I guess it's just slimmed down even more. Yeah, I guess you can see it in the center section there. It's really skinny. And very cool. Very, very cool. That's rad. Is that also longer? Is that the double 20 by 20 stack frame? Okay. Here we go. So I'm going into the video collective and I'm gonna pick the last 3 edits, as long as they weren't uploaded at 11:17 like Riot 9 did. Today at 3:18, CMYK put an edit up, so he's gonna be one of them. We're gonna watch some of that. Oh, he even... No. Ah, blah, 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 blah. Okay, turn the volume down. CiottiFPV, he's gonna be next. He posted an edit on the 18th. There we go with that. And the third one, 3 edits gives me enough time to get everything together. It's gonna be GrizzFPV on 12/15. He posted Sunday 1-pack rip. So these are the 3 beautiful bastards that you're going to get to watch, who were active on that group. I'm going to move a couple of windows around real quick here. And here comes a link. Oh, nope, that's the word Cinesqueak. Hey, can a mod drop a link to Super Lux's channel again? Everybody go subscribe or I'll beat you with a hammer. Your choice. I gave you... fair warning. Riot9 says you're not going to play some video collective vids first. I deleted all mine to make sure I didn't get embarrassed. Don't do that, man. No matter where you guys are as a pilot right now today, every single one of us have been exactly as good as you are. And we've also been even worse than you are today. So don't be embarrassed of where you're at as a pilot today, ever. Because you're better than most, and we've all been there. FPV Trucker says, TBS has the Cinesplore frame. Where can I get ducts? FPV Cycle never has anything in stock. You can print them. There's a bunch of Cinesplore ducts on Thingiverse that work really well, actually. Or Stan FPV has molded ducts, which I think are my favorites at the moment. I got to do a little bit more testing of them, but I'm pretty sure that they're the ones that I've kind of settled on. All right, cool. So I'm gonna get these the giveaways figured out here. You guys are gonna watch a couple of awesome people's videos with a soundtrack of from Epidemic Sound. So I will be back. Enjoy some of this flying. First up is CMYK FPV. Here comes the link in the chat. Be back in a minute, boys. Probably getting a big delay. right, boys and girl. The girl being Maggie. She's more than likely the only female watching. I'm ready for you. That was some, I caught that dive from CiottiFPV. That was pretty dope. CiottiFPV, incidentally, in that video, more than likely, he did the build planning session with me. He's got a pretty similar ripsqueak build to me, so that's what you were seeing in that first one. Let me get caught up on chat real quick. GrizzFPV says, no hammers for me, I subbed. Athix says, CiottiFPV thinks the AI was cancer, LOL. Alright, cool, we're good. So... wheels are all set up. We are going to do the regular 3 wheel spins, which are set up normally, so everybody is getting their normal, you know, number of entries, and then we're gonna do the super chat thing. So yeah, first up, hold on, you're gonna lose audio for a second. I'll be right back. All right, there we go. First up is gonna be the $5 a month Tiny Whoop and Toothpick tier. Let's see who from this moves on to the main event wheel. Ready? Come on now. Here it is. Let's see who it's gonna be. One of these people is gonna have a chance to win this full build, and that person's name is FinFPV. Congratulations, brother. FinFPV is moving on to the winner wheel. Wow. That confetti, though, really just crushing this computer. Okay. I forgot about that from last time. All right, so this is the winner's wheel here. FinFPV is the first one to go on there. Congratulations, brother. There's actually a new edit coming of CiottiFPV piloting FinFPV editing very soon that you guys are gonna dig. Next up, this is the $10 a month 3-inch micro brushless and Cinewhoop tier. Let's see who's moving on from this one. Is that the button? That's the button. Ready? Go! The goat screams, the wheel spins, prepare for computer killing confetti. Thanks to either Quadbot or Marty. It's Quadbot. Congratulations, brother. We are gonna take your name and slowly highlight it. Oh, my mouse pointer is... there it is. Oh, there we go. All right, Quadbot is moving on. Next up, we've got the 5-inch wheel. And the goat is ready. He's gonna be louder this time. I hope you're prepared. Go! Oh, uh-oh. It's the, oh boy. It's either Monkey Shine or Riot 9. Monkey Shine FPV. I have to assume that the wheels don't become any less random when they lag a little bit. Monkey Shine's moving on. And now for the final... oh, balls. Why did it put Finn on there twice? Quadbot, copy. Oh, man. I know what happened. I left this opened, and the confetti kept going. Okay. All right. We're going to replace FinFPV here with Quadbot. And, all right. So, that's the 3 Patreons. Thank you, Remy Tim. That's the 3 Patreon folks. The 4th person going on this wheel is somebody that's going to win from a super chat giveaway. $5 to get on the wheel. The secret, whatever, not secret. We're going to do a separate wheel just like we always do. $5 to get on there once, $10 to get on there twice. You can do a super chat, or you can go to CiottiFPV.com, hit the PayPal button, and PayPal directly to me if you don't want YouTube to take your 30%. I am fine with YouTube taking 30%. They give me this awesome platform to live stream from. But if you don't want that to happen, there you go. I've got the option for you. I need to open up another wheel of names here for this wheel that we're about to jump into. And all right, cool. Fin, quad bod, and monkey shine are safe on the main wheel. Now we're gonna do the super chat. Let me get my email back up here. And all right, cool. So yeah, again, this is super chat and or PayPal giveaway chances to win this full build. The only thing this build doesn't have is a receiver because, you know, God knows if you're on Crossfire or FR Sky or ELRS or any of the other things in places. All right, here we go. We are gonna get Paul McDonald on there first. He PayPal'd a tenner. He says for the wheel. Paul goes on not once, but twice. Thank you for the support, Paul. Next up, we've got Daniel Maurer, 2 entries. He goes on the wheel twice. And then we've got a $5 PayPal from Jackalope FPV. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Dan, of course. Daniel Maurer, if you didn't already know it, is the FPV mentor. If you've got somebody that you want to get into the hobby and you don't want them to quit, like every single person I've ever tried to get into the hobby, Dan can certainly help. Have him head on over to fpvmentor.com, or if you just have a bunch of technical questions, that's what Dan is doing, one-on-one support for you. He's a very knowledgeable dude. You're gonna get access to a hell of a resource of knowledge and information, especially if you're into long-range stuff. If you have long-range questions, I'm not usually the best for those. Dan's going to be able to help you out for sure. Colin Collins with a $10 PayPal. Thank you, brother. Let's get caught up on the... Nope, one more real quick, and then we'll dive into the super chats. Jackalope's second entry coming in. We're gonna split him up. Maybe he did this on purpose. Maybe he doesn't want to be right next to himself on the wheel. So now he's evenly spaced out with Collins. Maniac FPV with a $9.99 super chat. He says, "Yeah, come on, let's go." Thank you, Maniac. Thank you, Colin. Thank you, Jackalope. Maniac is gonna go on the wheel here 2 times. Austin Jennings with a $5 super chat. He says, "Merry Christmas, buddy." Merry Christmas to you as well, Austin. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're going on the wheel. Metal Dirtskin with a $20 super chat. He says 10 for the wheel and the rest for FPV. How should we pronounce that? FP Vestivus or FPV Estivus? FPV Estivus, right? Yeah, it's got to be that. Metal Dirtskin, thank you, brother. You are going on the wheel 2 times. Oh boy, what happened there? And let's keep going. We've got a little bit of Riot 9, 669 Australian. I only said respin for the Patreon draw effers. Riot 9, you go on the wheel one time. You get Ugelin. I'm not so old that I can't figure these things out. Ugelin with a $5 super chat. He says, "Let's get it." Ugelin, I haven't seen that name before. Welcome. Thanks for hanging out, man. Good to meet you. Thanks for the support. I'm going to get you on the wheel here. There you go. Riot 9 says, "Some might say more knowledgeable than CiottiFPV, LMAO." Indeed. When it comes to long-range stuff, absolutely. I mean, there's things that all of you guys are way more knowledgeable than me about. That is the beauty of the collective. Chuck King FPV with a $5 super chat. He's getting in there. He says, "Chuck bless you." I should have everybody that did PayPal. If you sent me 5 or 10 on PayPal and you're not on the wheel right now, tag me in the chat and let me know. Newt McFly with a $10 super chat. He says, "Merry Christmas, fellow flyers." He's going on the wheel 2 times. Newt, I haven't seen your name either, man. Welcome. Glad to see some new people around here. Love that. Newt is now on the wheel 2 times. Anybody else? Looks like we might be able to get this rolling in a second. I'll give you guys like another 30 seconds. Paul McDonald said, tagged me and said $10 on PayPal. I think I have you in here. Remy Tim helped me out with the mist paste. 20 more seconds, and this wheel gets spun, and the winner here gets put on that last wheel. Michael Lowndes is getting a last-minute $5 super chat, and he says, Merry Christmas. Michael, you are going on the wheel. Is he going to be the last person? Did you do PayPal and you're not on the wheel? It's up to you to let me know. 10 more seconds, friends, and then this wheel gets spun, the goat screams, all hell breaks loose. MotorRef FPV with a $9.99 super chat. He says, Merry Christmas, CiottiFPV. Thank you, brother. MotorRef, you're going on there twice. And that is it. I gave you guys as much notice as I could. I'm at the bottom of the little window anyway. That is beautiful. The wheel's getting spun. The goat is at the ready. Here we go. The last chance to get on the winner's wheel. It's looking like Metal Dirtskin. Metal Dirtskin, congratulations. You are going on the winner's wheel. Let's see the confetti destroy the 13-year-old computer. Wait, do I still have the confetti going on this one? I do. Get out of here. Stop it, confetti. Stop it. Oh, boy. Look how angry. I clicked close a couple times. There we go. All right, Metal Dirtskin. Congratulations, my man. You are going on the winner's wheel, and here is the winner's wheel. We are going to put metal on here, and I'm going to delete these extra spaces. One of these 4 people is going to win this full build, and that person's name is going to pop up on the screen in 3, 2... Wait, no, it's going to take longer than that. Here it goes, goddammit. Ooh, listen to the goat getting angry. It's Quadbod! Congratulations, Quadbod! You have won a full goddamn build. You are from one of the Patreon giveaways. So I've got your info over there on Patreon. So I'm just going to take a little marker here, and I'm going to write Quadbod on the side of this box. Q-U-A-D. Wow, my handwriting. It's not getting better as I'm getting older. That's for goddamn sure. Quadbod, congratulations, man. Very, very cool. Q-U-A-D-B-O-D, right? Q-U-A... Can I read that? I can... I hope I can read that. Maybe I'll have to rewatch the stream. Congratulations to all you beautiful people. Let's do a little bit of work over here. Let's put a capacitor on this little 3-inch ripsqueak to get it back up in the air. What do you say? Thanks to everybody that jumped in on the giveaways. I love you guys. You are the goddamn best. I'm just going to make sure that the computer is going to cooperate over here. And I'm going to move the chat over so I can see it from the working area. All right, there we go. This is a Q&A stream, so if you guys have any other questions other than why the fuck are you wearing a red onesie right now, you got to rewind to the beginning of the stream to get the answer to that one. Feel free to drop them, and I'll talk about them as I rip this thing apart and put a little capacitor in it. So, why do I have so many... oh, let me do this real quick. Let me check these little 1.3 millimeter screws. Oh, so whoever asked the other day what the screws are in Tiny Whoops to hold the motors on, they're M1.3. I have found out because this is a 1.3 millimeter screwdriver that I'm using to tighten up these screws. Usually, the Tiny Whoop screws are Phillips head. But yeah, I have a set of these that are actually Allen screws, and yeah, it takes an M1.3 driver to tighten these guys. So I think that means that these are M1.3 screws. No, that's not right, because these prop screws are considered M2, but it's an M1.5 driver that you need for these M2 screws. So forget that I said that. I don't know what these Tiny Whoop screws are. Sorry. I am going to leave this here, though, because I do want to swap the frame on this to get this thing back up in the air, because, man, I've been having some fun flying this thing around. Hey, Noah Reinhardt for the win. He says M1.45, maybe M1.4. But we're not working on that. We're working on this. Here we go. Let's see how quick I can put a capacitor into this. Super Deluxe tagged me and says, what was your favorite part of FPV in 2021, and what are you looking forward to in 2022? An amazing question. I'm actually really looking forward to doing a live stream around New Year, like 2021 recap live stream. It's just going to be about this year. This year has been the most ridiculous year in my life. Everything in my life went upside down, backwards, changed again. I changed careers. I got divorced. There's so many things that have happened this year. But that's a really good specific question. Favorite part of FPV in 2021 was starting to fly cinematic gigs. I have had so much fun. We're also going to change these camera mounts on this rig. I have had so much fun flying Cinewhoops around Talent this year. It's just been silly. And so yeah, that would really have to be it. That would, like, if I had to pick one thing, that would kind of need to be it. A close second has been these rip squeaks, has been the flight performance increases that we've gotten on these little 3-inch rigs from a bunch of nice and smooth, not coggy motors. That is a very close second. But yeah, the best thing for me has been moving into this place of potentially that being like my career moving forward. Flying, being a cinematic FPV pilot. It's just been outrageously fun, and I'm a really, really, really lucky person to be able to have had that experience and yeah, be able to kind of have built up a list of clients that are just dying to work with me. Yeah, it's just been wild. It's been a wild ride. So this is a 25 volt 330. Since I don't ever plan on running these things on anything beyond 4S, this is actually what I'm going to use here. Especially because it's nice and small, I need to try to... Well, there's two spots I can stick it. One of them is behind the camera, up front, to keep the wires really short. But it doesn't really look like it's going to fit there. The other spot that I can put it is going to be in the back here. And it's looking like that's where it's going to need to go. And so that means that... And that's kind of a bummer. I would rather keep it up closer to the ESC pads. But, hey. Can't always get what you want. So, yeah, we are going to use this. Let me see which of these waffle caps this thing is going to work better in. It's definitely going to work better in this old school one with the slots. Yep. Yeah, so this is the cap that I'm going to use. It's going to look ridiculous because the cap is way bigger than the capacitor itself, but that's okay. That's totally fine. The second part of the question from Super Deluxe is, what am I looking forward to in 2022? I mean, I know it's kind of a boring answer, but blowing that shit up. 2022 is going to be the year that I go from a full-time FPV live streamer to a full-time FPV pilot. That is the goal. And I mean, that's a big goal, man. Like, that's a hard thing to do. There are not many people on Earth doing that. And it's scary as hell to kind of, that's going to be a lot, but I'm going to do it. If 2021 proved anything to me, it's that I'm good enough. And for somebody with anxiety and like a lot of kind of self-hatred over many, many years from the anxiety and from the depression, that is kind of the biggest hurdle. So yeah, that is what I'm gonna do. And I love that you guys are gonna come along for the ride, because it's gonna be fucking rad. And yeah, this live stream has enabled me to do that. So, you know, you guys should really feel like extra special about that, because you've all been a part of that, and that's super rad. So yeah, that's what I'm most excited for. I have everything in place to be able to do that. I just need to keep going. I just need to keep doing what I'm doing. I know exactly what I need to do. It's just a matter of continuing to do it and continuing to... Right now, it's a matter of having faith that that I'll start to get booked again when the weather finally turns. Most of the gigs that I work on are outdoor music video shoots. And yeah, who the hell wants to be outside right now dancing around trying to shoot a music video? Certainly not me. And, you know, a lot of these artists are, you know, they don't want to either. And they have enough money to be able to say, no, I'm not going to do that. And those are the people that I want to work with, you know what I mean? Like, I want to work with people that have the means to say that, because they can then do really fun stuff. And I've been lucky to be a part of some of that, and I'm really looking forward to continuing that. Good question, brother. How about you, Super? It's hard to type, but how about you, man? What's the future hold for you? Demenis says, is there any reason you shouldn't mount the VTX under the flight controller? Heat. I wouldn't want I try to leave the VTX out sort of by itself, if at all possible. Other than heat, though, no real reason. I mean, for this build, the reason is space. There's not enough space under there. It would be very, very tight. And, you know, there's room in the back. There's plenty of room in the back here for my little communications package. Yes, I said package. M1.4. Thank you, Noah. AthixFPV says, my last big message. Going to flow state with Bob Noxious and meeting a lot of pilots was one of my best moments. Yeah, that was fun, man. That was very, very fun. JRFPV says, does a larger company make ethics props like HQ or GemFan, or does ethics actually make their own? Those are HQ props. Yeah, they're HQ props. Ethics just tells HQ the specs that they're looking for, and HQ handles everything else. Noah Reinhardt says, forgot how fiddly these little micros are. Yeah. Remy Tim says, don't forget us when you're shooting for Michael Bay. I most certainly won't. I'm I doubt that I will ever go that route, though. The Cinelifter thing is really not my target. I want to continue shooting with GoPros. I love shooting these smaller music videos. The Cinelifter thing is closely tied to gigs where they're bigger projects, they're multi-day projects, and you're getting your day rate. You know, you're getting your $1,000 or $1,500 or $2,000 day rate for a bunch of days in a row. What I don't like about those shoots is that you sit around for most of the day waiting until the second that you're up. I would rather do a shorter gig, work for an hour or two, and then come back here and do FPV things. And I would rather do multiple of those gigs than, yeah, the bigger gigs where you're flying the Cinelifters and whatnot. That's a total personal preference thing, and it's a little bit of a it's kind of short-sighted because I haven't done the Cinelifter thing yet. So maybe I would enjoy the Cinelifter stuff more. What I know that I wouldn't enjoy more is sitting around on a set for 8 hours, just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. I've done that. I've done that as a gaffer, and it doesn't work for my brain, man. I'm just like a ball of nerves the entire time. So yeah, maybe that'll change. Maybe I'll change my mind in the future, but I kind of doubt it. I mean, but who knows? We'll see. But at the moment, I really 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 enjoy these like smaller kind of gigs. We'll see what the future holds. Only one way to find out. JT Custom Knives says, on my big build, my Maytech blah 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 has UART switched 12 volt. Can I use that to power my DJI air unit? I don't think that you want 12 volt going into an air unit. I could be wrong though. Isn't it 9 volt that they want? I don't know anything about DJI. I'm all analog. But if the air unit will take 12 volts, I don't see why not. I mean, the only thing I can see why not is I prefer, like, so the air unit is going to pull a bunch of voltage and a bunch of amps, and if that FCHUB-12S is a flight controller, you could make the case for not wanting to put that much stress on the flight controller. God forbid that voltage regulator in the flight controller takes a shit. Yeah. So you could maybe make the case for doing like I do. These RunCam hybrid HD boards are similar. So I run them off, typically, in this build I'm actually not, but typically I run them off of an external 5 volt regulator. On this build, like I said, I'm not, but yeah, typically I do. So you could maybe make the case for wanting to run it on an external back, but you would probably be fine. Ugelin says, "What are some bind and fly Cinewhoops that you would recommend to someone wanting to get into more professional cinematic gigs?" None of them, Ugelin. If you're gonna get into professional cinematic gigs, in my opinion, you should be custom building rigs. You should have the ability, and you should have been in this hobby long enough to be able to custom build a rig. In part because I don't think that brand new people should be flying around talent, and that's what a lot of professional cinematic gigs are, because quite honestly, you just haven't been doing it long enough to be good enough that if something bad happens, you're going to not slam the rig into somebody's face, for example. And when you're flying around talent, you know, that is unacceptable. So, yeah. And also, because if you're on set and something happens, you need to be able to fix the rig. And if you can't fix the rig, and then your backup rig goes down as well, that's bad. That looks bad on you. It actually also looks bad on the entire FPV community. So yeah, and the other thing is that the best cinematic rig, in many people's opinion, which is the FPV Cycle Cinesplorer, you can't get that as a bind and fly. That is a frame that you buy separate. I have a bunch of build videos here on the channel, how you can build that thing. It's a fairly straightforward build. But yeah, I genuinely do not recommend somebody that can't build their own rigs. And take this with a grain of salt, right? This was my path. I'm entitled to have my own opinion, right? If you think that I'm wrong, that's totally fine. This is just my opinion. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that. If you're gonna buy a bind and fly rig to do professional cinematic gigs with, don't buy less than 2. Realistically, you should buy 3. But absolutely do not buy less than 2 of those rigs. You will regret it. I guarantee you that you will regret it. I'm looking for some 24 gauge wire here. Do I have any in the top of the toolbox is the question. I do. So yeah, those are some of my thoughts on that. Like I said, you are absolutely warranted in disagreeing with me. Here's the other deal. The Cinesplorer is much lighter than any of the bind and fly Cinewhoops. From what I've seen, the bind and fly Cinewhoops are all pretty fat, and that is not what you want. You want your Cinewhoop to be as light as possible, so that it is as maneuverable as possible. It really makes a big deal. You also want your Cinewhoop to have removable arms. Most of them do not. There are a lot of very basic things that you want out of a Cinewhoop that every bind and fly I've ever seen don't. They don't have removable arms. They're not lightweight. And there's a legit performance difference there. So, sort of I'm sure that answer is relatively unpopular, but yeah. If you're going to be doing, if professional cinematic means like house tours, for example, that's a lot, you know, there's a better case there for, yeah, an amateur being able to do that, because the worst you're going to do is bounce it off of an expensive thing in a house, and then you just have to pay for that expensive thing, and it is what it is. So yeah, if that's the plan, yeah, that's a little bit less, you know, sketchy or whatever you want to say. But yeah, that's my answer. That's my answer, and I'm sticking to it. I'm gonna run these leads in between the flight controller and the ESC. I hope. This is gonna be kind of a tight fit here, but I think there's just enough room for it. I think I'll be able to get this in here. Let's see. After I do this, I'm gonna need to. Well, let's check the length. So if that's hooked up to that pad, no. Let's put it through, and we'll see where it goes. because this actually might not even fit. This is... Usually I only run 30 gauge wires in between the stack components to keep the thickness down. Man, I really wish I could fit the capacitor up front, but there's just it's just not going to happen. You want to really try your best to keep the wire length going to the capacitor as short as possible. Okay, so it's going to sit right there on the ground pad. So I'm going to hold it down, and then it's going to come up here. And where's that little capacitor? Here it is. Capacitor is going to sit right back there. So we need it to come up and reach the pads. And I'm going to give myself a little bit of extra, which means right around there. So I'm going to cut it there. And so now... So that's the ground. This is going to be the positive. I'm going to cut this one ever so slightly shorter because ground's going to be on that side. So they're going to have to cross. No, I don't want them to cross. So that's going to come up there. And, okay, yeah. So this other one I'm going to cut a little bit shorter because it's just got ever so slightly less distance to travel. Alright, cool. So now I'm going to get these soldered up to the capacitor first, and then I'm going to have to pass the wires through. This is going to be tough, but we'll get it done. CMYK says, Yo, what caused the red jumpsuit? CMYK, at the beginning of the stream here, so the red onesie that I'm wearing is going to be worn during the 12 Hours of Christmas stream on Christmas Day, starting at 4 p.m. and going until 4 a.m. But Super Deluxe got the Christmas season started way early tonight with a $500 PayPal donation. So I said, you know what? I will put this goddamn onesie on for tonight. As a small token of my gratitude and show of insanity, to kind of get the Christmas season started. Super Lux, thanks again, brother. My God, the FPV community is very lucky to have you in it. If you guys are not subscribed, if any of you are not subscribed to Super Deluxe, you need to go now. I mean, if nothing else, the guy puts out amazing content. Like all the time. So you want to subscribe just so that you get more good FPV content, but you also want to do it because, my God, is he generous with so many of us content creators. Joshua, Bot, yeah, super generous human being. And, you know, those of us that are doing this full time, like, we 100% rely on that. And yeah, it's we're very lucky to have all of you guys that are willing to spend your hard-earned money on our content that we're creating and, you know, our lives and whatnot. It's a really big deal. You guys make a lot of this possible. For me, I mean, it's, you know, it's one-to-one. Like, without your guys' donations, I would not be live streaming right now. I would still be a project manager in the corporate world. And yeah, my life would be much worse, to be really honest. This is this career. This is the best thing I've ever done professionally. I had a job as a salesperson at a place called Disc Makers in New Jersey that was the best job working for someone else that I've ever had. But it was not as it was not as enjoyable as doing this. This is the most fun I've ever had at a job, at a career. There are definitely some sacrifices, but it is worth it for what I'm trying to kind of build here. Maggie actually, it's really cool, right? So she really early on in our relationship, she said to me, I see what you're trying to build. And I never thought about it in those terms, but man, she was so right. Because that's like exactly what I'm doing. Like I'm trying to build this little very unique career for myself here. And I never, I didn't really like think about it in those terms, but it's just such a perfect way to kind of think about it. And I'm just so lucky. I really am. I'm lucky that I got into FPV when I did. I'm lucky that I hit it really hard. I'm lucky that you guys exist, and that you guys saw the. Oh, this is going to be hard to thread these through. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. Yeah, a lot of things fell into place, and it's pretty amazing. So, yeah, you guys are the best. That's really true. I can't believe I was able to just get those in there, but now it becomes even harder. Because now I got to try to route these through here without getting them all tangled up into other stuff. Because there's a wiring, there's a bundle of wires running between this flight controller and ESC for the motors and direct battery voltage and whatnot. Oh man, I'm trying to do this without pulling the stack apart because that makes it so much more insane. So I got one, but I don't see the other one. Let me continue to pull this one through, and maybe it'll help with the other one. So this is the positive wire. It is not helping with it. Oh, is the other one right here? The other one's right there. Oh! Oh! I got it! I got it! Oh my god. Amazing. The question is, are they all tangled up in the bundle of wires? And also, are they pinching? Nah, so they're moving, and they're not all tangled up. Oh my goodness, look at that. Okay. And they're moving, which means that they're free. So this is really good. So this one is going to go on the ground pad. Wow, I gotta be honest, I was pretty sure I wasn't going to be able to pull that off. I was pretty sure that that was going to be a gigantic fail. I'm going to cut this ever so slightly shorter. And I'm going to do the same on this side. Since I was cutting, I knew that that little piece was going to shoot out away, not in. So that's why I didn't control the... Usually I put my finger over the top of the cutter so that the little piece of wire and solder doesn't go flying, but I was able to kind of sneak it on that one. Alright, so now I'm just going to take this little tinned piece of wire, put it on the inside of this pad, and see if I can't get it soldered down somewhat cleanly here. This is going to be a little tough, and you guys are not going to be able to see what I'm doing here, so just use your imagination, I guess. I'm actually not going to flux this. I'm just going to get a good whack of fresh solder on the tip of the iron here and just stick it on in there. I'm going to use these tiny little tweezers to hold this guy in place, and hopefully I can get this right. This is pretty kind of janky and tight in here, but I think I'm actually going to be okay. Let's get it. Here we go. Blob it up. Blobby light. And here we go. I'm also trying to not desolder the negative lead. And there we go. That turned out way better than I thought. I'll be able to show you guys what I'm up to in a minute, but I have to just get it done first. Oh my god, yeah, that totally worked. I'll be damned. Alright, we're going to try it one more time here on the positive side, and then I'll show you guys what I did here. And let's just push that in a little bit. I don't want that to be as long. And there we go. It's in position. It's on the outside of the pad. Let's load up the tip of the soldering iron again. And away we go. Alright. There it is. We're on the pad. Oops, shit. Oh, I forgot. I took the positive pad off of here because I needed the space. So I soldered that on, and it's beautiful because it's the only thing on the pad. But now it gets a little bit more confusing because I got to put this this battery wire on here too. So let's see. Let's see how this turns out. This could be ugly. Hopefully not. Ooh, I think that's good. I think that is perfect. Oh, yes, I totally got away with that. All right, so here's what I just did. Actually, hold on, let me check my work real quick. Oh, yeah, we are golden. Oh, my goodness. All right, you guys are going to love this. So here's what I did. That was pretty challenging. Not too bad, but that was interesting. All right, here we go. So you can kind of only see the positive pad there, but if you look really close in here, oh shitters. If you look really close right there, that is the that's the little 24 gauge wire going in, and then it goes in between the flight controller and the ESC, and then it peeks out the back here with the capacitor. You see it in there? See the wires coming out? Going to the capacitor. So now I'm going to take this capacitor, I'm going to stand it up, I think, and I'm just going to zip tie it to something in the back here. So it hangs out like that, which you guys can't see now because I have it on manual focus. So there's autofocus again. So yeah, I had those cables just sticking up, and then the pad was there, and I just put them on the outside of the pad and just zapped them right down. What do we got going on here? JRFPV says, later guys, work early in the morning. Everybody have a good night. Oh my god, I missed a bunch of chat. Jesus, how did this happen? Chris Croft says 4S Max for air unit. Chris Croft says 6S on Vista, air unit light, etc. CMYK says, what call? We got that. Glenn Burnett with a $5 super chat. So sorry I missed it for a while, Glenn. Can you recommend a good Whoop AIO for 2S that doesn't have RX or TX on board that will fit 75mm Whoop frame like Newbie Drone 75, Betaflight Meteor 75? Unfortunately not, Glenn. I can't find one myself. I am on the hunt for the exact same thing. a good Whoop AIO that will work on 2S. Yeah, I unfortunately I just don't know. I haven't been able to find one. I don't trust the Betaflight boards. I don't trust the Happy Model boards, and there's not a whole hell of a lot else. You said it doesn't have RX or VTX on board. That's going to make it a little bit easier for you. I'm looking for something with a VTX on board. So you've got it a little bit easier than me, but not by much, man. I wish I had an answer for you. Dr. Vigno says, do you think 1507 Zing 3900 on a 2.5-inch Cinewhoop carrying Cadex peanut is overkill? Thanks, you with the good work. It is, but I mean, if you want to look at how much overkill, I have an edit called "Destroying a Set of Zing 1507s in One Day" or one flight session or whatever. That's a 3-inch rig. That's on a 3-inch Acrobrat, but it's probably about the same weight. So you can. The problem you're going to run into is more that I don't know if even I don't know if there's any 2.5-inch props that are going to load that motor down enough to really get the full power of it. You're going to want as many blades as possible on your propellers to try to make that happen. I'm not going to change these camera mounts. I am just going to slap it back together because I have a feeling I'm going to have to pull it all the way apart. Because I have a feeling that what I just did here is not going to fix the issue. So, yeah, for the time being, I'm just going to leave this thing alone. I'm going to put this cap here, and I'm going to zip tie it to the, I'm going to zip tie it to the zip tie, friends. That's literally what's going to happen here. Like I said, I don't think this is going to fix the problem, so I'm not going to put a bunch of thought or effort or time into how I mount this thing. This is kind of a shitty way to mount it, but it's absolutely going to work. So let's just knock this out real quick, and then, yeah, I'll get my answer whether or not capacitance was the problem that this rig was having. And yeah, if this fixes the issue, I can always just, you know, I'll come back and clean this up. Although I don't know, this might actually work totally fine. I'm just threading the zip tie down and in here. I am also going to pull this rig back apart when I get another one of those rear pieces that Matt McConnell has made with the little Immortal T loopy guy on it. We'll talk more about that in a future live stream. So, wires out. Yeah, this is also going to keep the wires away from the flight controller, which is nice. Yeah, this is sketchy. This is a sketchy way of mounting this, but like I said, it's going to work. It's going to work for fine, just for testing purposes. Okay. And I'm trying to think if I want to loop in the yeah, I'm gonna pull the wires down to the capacitor just so that they're not going anywhere. Yeah, all right, cool. So this will be fine. Here we go. Get this zip down, and then it is after 12 and I'm getting hungry as hell, so I'm going to wrap this stream up once I have this done. But, of course, I want to give you guys the satisfaction of seeing the fix all the way in place. So that's pretty much it there. I'm hoping that, yeah, that's far enough away from the prop. It can't really shift around. This should be totally fine. Weird way of mounting this, I know, but it's going to be fine, I promise. Promise it's going to be fine. So how far out can that go? Yeah, we got plenty of clearance there. And I don't even really need to crank this super tight. That's totally fine there. Ooh, this is going to be a bitch to cut this zip tie. No, it's not. Good to go. So there we go. A little bit of an awkward spot, but I didn't have to rip anything else apart. And should be okay. I mean, it's wobbling a little bit, but I'm cautiously optimistic. Let me see if I can maybe pull the zip tie one more notch. Oh, that's much better. One more little notch in the zip tie, and that's much better. Cool. So there it is. That's where we ended up. The leads go down and in between the flight controller and the ESC, which you can't really see because this camera refuses to focus. But that's what's going on, and then they sneak up and are hooked up to the thing in the place. Let's put voltage to it to see if I wired the capacitor backwards, since when you do that, they explode. And it's very exciting. It's very, very exciting. I am going to use the smoke stopper because I'm not a complete lunatic. I wonder if the smoke stopper will trip or not. Hey, we're good to go. So, like I said, I'm going to have to fly this to be able to tell if it's doing the weird twitching shit. And it's dark, so yeah, can't do that here tonight. I will do it tomorrow, and I'll let you guys know. Whoop Wednesday might be from Maggie's house this week. I'm thinking that it will. We're going to do some antenna testing, and we are going to continue to pound on the best flying tiny whoop I've ever built. So don't miss that Monday night at 8 o'clock. Might be here. There's a chance it'll be here. Because I do have some building that I want to do. But we'll see. We will see. Crank these TI screws down with the MIP driver. And all set. Good to go, my friends. Didn't have to disturb the stack. Flight controller still looks like it's got some good damping to it. Yeah, it's got enough movement. I mean, there is a chance that the issue that I'm having with this rig is from the flight controller being a little bit too tight, but I really doubt it. Especially because I don't think it's any more loose in this one, but let me take a quick look. Let me just... Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit more free to move in this one, but not really. Yeah, I don't think that's what it is. I think that... No, I don't know. I don't know why this rig is acting weird. Pretty sure it's ESC related because it wasn't doing it before I changed this ESC. But yeah, the troubleshoot shall continue. The 1504 Ripsqueak is back together, my friends. So I'll go demolish it tomorrow. Maybe. We'll see. I'm definitely going to put it up in the air tomorrow, and I hope that the issues are gone because these 1504s fly amazing. Dr. Vigno says 1504 Zing. Oh, no. 1504 Zings are going to be perfect for that build, Dr. Vigno. Hell yeah. You're going to love that build, man. I do think, though, that you should run... What are you putting on? A Cinewoop? 2.5-inch Cinewoop? I think that you should run a 4 or a 5-blade Cinewoop prop. GemFan should have a 2.5-inch 5-blade Cinewoop propeller. That is going to rock on those 1504s. That's going to be a hell of a combo. Ugelin says, I can build them. I fly a tiny trainer right now with a Go 2 on it. Just figured there might be a decent bind and fly option. Awesome, Ugelin. Glad that you can build it. You're gonna yeah. The answer that I gave you is dead on the money. Cinesplorer is what you want in my opinion, and in many other pro pilots' opinions. JT Custom Knives says it's not a flight controller. It's a power distribution board. Oh, even better. Yeah, man, do it. Oh, it's 12 volt 4 amps. Hell yeah, dude. Do that. That's gonna be great. There's JR left. Paul McDonald says, ordered 2 Cinesplorer frames. It's time to try something other than my Squirt V2. Everybody that's moved from a Squirt to a Cinesplorer, Paul, has like been in love with the Cinesplorer. So you should, yeah. They're on sale TBS site for $15, but no printed part. Really? Jesus, that's a good deal. I'm probably gonna snag one because I would love to have an extra Cinesplorer frame. What do they cost on FPV Cycle? Wow, $15. Look at that. Yo. Damn. Let's see. If they're not that much cheaper, it doesn't really make sense because you have to pay shipping on the TBS website. Oh, it's sold out. Oh, it won't even give me a price. Oh, 60. Well, that's with the V3 ducts. No ducts, frame only. It's $32. Wow. And it's sold out. So yeah, I mean, if you want a Cinesplorer, there's only one spot you can get it from. Damn. Okay. Good call on that one. Really good call on that one. Let's see what shipping is. Ooh. Oh, that's an old address. That's funny. That's fine. Come on, tell me what it's going to cost. Hold on. What's my current address? There we go. Proceed. Shipping is not coming up. Shipping is $10.30 for TBS economy, 10 to 15 days, and $21 for FedEx International Priority. So $10.30, not bad for the frame being half price. So if you buy, even if you just buy one Cinesplorer frame, it's going to be cheaper. Just barely cheaper, but you can't get them from FPV Cycle anyway. So, and if you buy multiples, it is going to be significantly cheaper. So, there you go. Get you your Cinesplorer from TBS. I'm probably going to buy a few because I'm going to buy a couple for giveaways. I love doing Cinesplorer giveaways for the $10 a month tier. So yeah, I'm gonna snag a couple of them. Good call, man. I'm gonna get caught up on chat, and then we're gonna shut this fucker down. Bork says, "Drink more water, please. Knuckle skin is not pliable. Looks as bad as mine." Bork, keep in mind that I'm old. My face looks young, but my whole body is 40 years old. This is just how my hands look as an old fucker. Actually not. I might be a little dehydrated. I do need to get a little bit better at drinking water. I'm pretty good about drinking water. I had a hard time. I used to be really good about drinking water at work because I would always want to walk away from my desk. When I started working from home, I had to teach myself to drink more water because I was getting dehydrated. But I've gotten around that. 661FPV says, "Who remembers the OG Power Whoop build, the original first 2S 65mm Whoop? Shutterbug built it with a 16 by 16 stack and a whoop frame a few years ago now. Jesus, that's a nightmare of a build. I don't remember that. Glenn Burnett says, all of the decent AIO whoop boards are more for toothpicks and don't fit inside the ducts. Yep, that's the problem that I have. So I'm trying to find either a frame that fits toothpick AIO or a 2S whoop that fits. Glenn, if you find it, please let me know. I'm looking for the same thing, man. I'm trying to figure out the lightest weight way to carry around an Insta360 Go 2. 661FPV says, who hasn't seen Risco's latest music video starring JB? I have not. How do I find it? 661FPV with the last chat comment of the night. I'm hungry. He says, hate to see it. Time to try those flash hobby motors for that Cinesplorer. That is one of the things that I'm looking to do this Wednesday, is move these flash hobby motors onto a Cinesplorer. I might wait until the 12-hour stream. I've got to fill the 12 hours up with stuff, and I don't want it to just be one big build. So I'm starting to line up a bunch of small things that I can do. One of the things that we're going to do is move the Monster 1804 Ripsqueak from a V2 frame to a V1 frame. One of the other things that we're probably going to do is maybe install those flash motors. We're gonna do a bunch of stuff. We're gonna fly around for a while. We're gonna do some fun stuff. It's gonna be really good. 661 says Risco FPV on YouTube. Watch it, you won't regret it. Awesome. Will do. 661. Boys, what a stream. Super Deluxe. Thank you, brother. Incredibly generous. All of you guys were incredibly generous tonight. It's I'm a lucky dude. Love you guys. Here comes a little bit of flying, a little bit of epidemic sounds, and yeah, man. What a wonderful holiday Christmas season. Chris Mahana Kwanzaa. Love you guys. Here's the rest of that junkyard flying, actually, from Rampage. Here you go. See you guys Wednesday. Buttons clicking.